we're going to work and figure out box and whisker plots and how to create them from a bit of data that we have. And we're going to be talking about lower quartile, upper quartile, interquartile range, etc. So let's go ahead and get to it. So, as you know, we are working with box and whisker plots. Okay, and once you have a box and whisker plot, it shows us a lot of information and data. So we're going to go ahead and look at the number of buttons that people are wearing. So look at yourself. What are you wearing? How many buttons do you have? Your back pockets have buttons. Are you wearing a jacket with lots of buttons? So these are my responses from that. 6 buttons, 5 buttons, 7 buttons, 1 button, 1 button, 11 buttons, 0 buttons, 1 button, 0 buttons, 2 buttons, and let's go ahead and have one more. Let's make it 4 buttons. Okay, so this is our data. Now, here are the steps in order to create our box and whisker plot. Step number 1 is order the data from least to greatest. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and start with, we have 2 zeros, so we're going to go 0, 0. We have 1, 2, 3 ones. We have 1, 2. We have 1, 4. 1, 5. 1, 6. 1, 7. And 1, 11. Okay, and then we double check. We have 5, 10, 11. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So we want to go ahead and make sure that you do check. If you're missing a data point, then the rest is going to be incorrect. Okay, step number 2 is find the least and greatest numbers. So whenever we do this, we automatically kind of get our box ready to go with our data. And there's 5 pieces of information that we need. We need the lowest number. We need LQ, which is lower quartile. We need our median. We need our UQ, which is our upper quartile, or our upper fourth of our data. And then we need our highest number. So this is our information that we're going to look at. So when we see we have our lowest number right here. So our lowest number is a 0 and our highest number is an 11. Okay. Step number 3 is we are going to find the median. So our median is that middle number. So we're going to go ahead and take one off the bottom and the top, bottom, top, one pair at a time, bottom, top, bottom, top, bottom, top, and our median is 2. So we're going to go ahead and put a 2 there in our median area. Okay. Step number 4 is to find the lower and upper quartile. Okay, so because we have a middle number here, we're going to kind of cross out there at the median, and we're going to ignore it. Now, if our median was in the middle and we had to add them together, if we had an even number of numbers and divide it by 2, then we would keep those numbers in there. But because we have a middle number, we're going to ignore it, and we're just going to look at this bottom half of data. This is my lower, and my upper half of data, this is my upper. So we're going to find the median of that piece of information. So we're going to do that again, where we have one off the bottom, one off the top, one off the bottom, one off the top. And then we have a 1, and that's breaking my data into the bottom fourth and then those middle fourth. So my lower quartile in this case is a 1. I'm going to do the same for the upper half. I'm going to take off the 4 and the 10, the 5 and the 7, and so I have a upper quartile of 6. Okay, so now I have all the pieces of data that I'm going to use. So step number 5 is to draw a number line. And of course it needs to be from 0 and then higher above, and we want to use our ruler for this. Okay, and step number 6 is we are going to add a dot above each data point. So we're going to put a dot above my 0, a dot at a 1, a dot at a 2, a dot at 6, and a dot at 11. Okay. Step number 7, draw a box around the middle 3 data points. Okay, so we have these middle 3, and we're going to draw a line, and we're going to draw a box around it. And then we're also going to go ahead and put a line through our median. And finally, step number 8 is to draw your whiskers. And that's going and connecting our first dot with our middle and our last dot with our fourth. And this right here is our box and whisker plot. Now what this shows us is this is the first quarter of the data, this is the second quarter of the data, the third, and then the fourth. So the further it is to the left, on this, we know the median is smaller. So out of these 11, our median was 2, and that's all the way over here on the edge. So most people had fewer buttons. Now, these whiskers show us how far apart the data is altogether. It shows us the range of data, and we can see that this is an outlier because it's pretty far away. So we know that not a lot of people had 11 buttons. More people had 1 or 2 buttons. And so this right here is half of our data, and it shows us where the majority of our people had between 1 and 6, and that being the median even less than that. So this shows us the bottom half of the data and the larger half of the data, all very visually. Okay, and that's how, ladies and gentlemen, you make a box and whisker plot. We're going to practice on how to read these in our today's activity.